No moi hoki mai ki te wānanga. I hope you guys are well. Welcome back to the wānanga. Sorry it is a little bit late in the week, but still this is here for your viewing pleasure to look back on the Tigers game. Look, I don't get too much into the attack. I just pick out a few of the mental defensive lapses more so, and a few little bit of highlights. But I mean, I've covered a lot of the similar. The guys are still running a lot of the similar attacking shapes, so I've covered a lot of that through my past videos. If you need to go back and look at that stuff, you can. But I just pinpointed a few little things that need to tighten up that I thought were kind of important in the game. A really tricky game to analyze. A game where I think people read into it as we're going to beat them by 50. A few things impacted that. Obviously, Egan, and we saw Sirinen. Dylan Walker wasn't able to play his full role, pulling up with a little injury, a little bit of fatigue in the legs, and actually credit to the Tigers, had a good game plan using Cortisal, working the market area, working the middles around, and using their speed and Laurie. So I thought I really wanted to highlight more so even the Tigers and their efforts, but also some of our defensive lapses and mental lapses, what Webby's put it down to. So hope you guys enjoy this video still. Like, share, subscribe. And let me know what you think. Chuck a comment in. What's your analysis of the game? Love to hear your guys' feedback on fullback play as well. I'll mention it in the video, but love to see some of the decisions around what fullbacks do, and kind of for myself actually getting more of awareness of what some of the things in terms of fullback play. But enjoy the video, guys, and let me know what you think. Okay, guys, we're going to start off at looking pretty much at our defensive lapses. Things to be aware of, and kind of just breaking down some of those issues. But I think we're going to start with this one here. This was actually a nice layered one, I thought, where Ikamanu out the back. I think if you've seen, maybe Adam has done this for us. This is a nice one where, and then using him as a decoy. Now, forward's going to check and then move off. Now, some are saying, well, Ford was impeded. Yeah, I agree. But if you think about it, Metcalf actually decided to go in there. He bit on that channel. Pompey stayed outside to play the two-man game because he thought Metcalf had that covered. Metcalf bites in, and then that's try. So it's just, those are some of the decisions that we will get in, unfortunately. The Manly back row, I keep forgetting, is it Ikamanu? I think that's Ikamanu, and then I forgot the Manly back rower. Olakoatu, I think it's Olakoatu is the Manly back rower. There's going to be some of that again tomorrow night. So those are some of the things to be aware of for Metcalf. Stressing that channel, I think there was a nice layered one where they went with Ikamanu there on the out the back to bite, get Metcalf to bite, then it's a skip pass back. Really nice layered attack there by the Tigers. So a credit to them. I think I covered this one, but for those that haven't seen it, underneath for Aden, so Ikamanu holds there, and then a little bit on Clemmer, but not enough to hold there. I thought Aden should have pushed across a little bit, and even maybe Barnett could have pushed in a little bit there, gets caught. But I think Aden had his eyes on Clemmer for that split second and just sort of kind of got caught out a little bit. So those are some of the things where we're just mental lapses, closing out gaps, or gap integrity, should I say, to try and be fancy. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of pushing through here, but I thought Tane did a commendable job though, but some of these things can be communication issues potentially. And I'm not too sure on fullback play. I'm not a specialist on fullback play, deciding when to go in, whether to rush a person. I know Tane kind of delayed a lot of his actions when they made line breaks. I'd love to hear other fullbacks that know much about being in 2-on-1 situations and what you kind of want to do. Do you want to delay the process as long as you can? I think that was probably the best Tane could do. Or is there a way where you can kind of get up faster to shut Laurie down earlier? Those are some of the things I'm not very familiar with, but would love to hear anyone that has a bit of fullback experience. Was Tane in the right to be able to go and delay his action on Laurie there because he'd had a similar one against Buller, which we're going to come up with soon. But those are just some things I thought was, you know, kind of, you know, I'm not sure about fullback play, but I'm not sure if Chance has been in those situations defensively, but I'm sure he has. But yeah, just something I need to learn a bit more about is those types of things. So, great try. Sorry, I'm just moving through. But long range tries, we've been getting caught out on long range a lot in the last couple of weeks, which is concerning. But Webby has said it is up to mental lapses there. This was just another one where I thought, again, going across the face of the defense is effective for a lot of teams, not just opposition, but I think even for ourselves, getting SJ in that, going across the face, and it stresses you laterally, and then you can have a lot more cutback angles. There's a lot more, like, if you can get dummies, you can start to work those channels quite. Let's see, you just get a little bit of a hold add in there. You start to hold your markers there, so you can get, with that type of action, dummy underneath, it can hold guys like Adden and then create space in that A gap. And another one we just, Tohu kind of plays on the outside a little bit, but then you're getting Adden and Tohu, probably a combination around the ruck that you don't want ideally, and that's some of the things that I'm a bit concerned about, is that we are getting in these matchups where Adden's at marker, and then first one outside the ruck is either Egan or Tohu, and that matchup can be quite difficult to cover ground. Whereas if you had a forward in the A gap maybe, and then, you know, someone else, you can cover this ground a lot quicker and get to it a bit faster. But these are some of the things where I thought Tigers did a really good job of kind of putting pressure on us and stressing those areas of the field, and they have been vulnerable for the last 2 weeks at least. In patches, but remember, just in patches, guys, not all the game, but those are some of the areas where if you can get Adden to hold and move him laterally, that's how you can create space effectively against us. Be interested to see how the Sea Eagles approach this as well, and if they go back to similar to what Coruscant, which I thought played an amazing game. I really love this guy. I think he's a great player with great heart. I wonder if they are able to the Sea Eagles are able to kind of do something. But see, errors there, but better teams will exploit that and be a bit more patient with it. I think the Tigers are still kind of in development mode. They got a young squad, if you think about it, and they're going to get there eventually, but there's good signs for them. This is one I talked about as well, where Ford misses that tackle, and then that puts pressure on Metcalf, puts him in a negative position really on his back, and then I think there might have been a breakdown with Tane. I think Tane could have pulled someone over to help fill the A defender on the other side, because you do have Pompey and Ford in the at markers. Montoya's out on an island. So I think that's something where, Tane and then Buller was very smart to just chime him and hang. I love a lot of the deception where you hang behind the marker and then you pop out to create that overlap. I love that kind of deception type play. And then it opens up, and then Montoya's playing, 2-on-1. So maybe Sirenen there could have pushed over, and maybe Tane could have pulled him over a little bit more. But these are split decisions where quick play the balls, you have to be very sharp to be able to get your numbers right, to get people to, making decisions correctly. And this is where teams can exploit us. And I thought the Tigers played very well in this particular play. Dummy and go. And we just didn't have the legs. And now this is another one situation where Tane kind of delays the process as long as he can, and then he has to kind of gamble. I suppose that's probably at the best position he can do, because he's got to try play for the outside on tour on the outside. So he has to actually shadow. He tried to shadow Buller to the outside, and then when he had the inside option, he had to turn and spin. And I think that was really a 3-on-1 if you think about it. I think Tane was in a tricky position there. Would love to hear more fullback approach from different guys. felt very much like Tane was at fault sometimes, but I don't want to blame the kid if it's not. Laurie was exceptional. Buller's a great talent that's coming through. The Tigers, they've just sacked Sheens, or Sheens has stepped down. It's on Benji now. They've got talent there. They just cannot put it together in terms of moving forward. But you saw on the night there how deadly they can be once they get it right. But again, this is just mental lapses, I feel. Defensive, mental, and it'll be nice to have CNK back. No disrespect to Tane. He's done a commendable job. He hasn't lost the game, to be fair. And at the end of the day, that is the main point, but these are some of the things you're thinking about moving forward. This was another try where, again, just probably Metcalf in a little bit there. Just ball watching, Ball watching. Pompey playing on the outside, obviously, for the lorry and the out the back. So that channel, Metcalf is getting caught out a little bit, if you think about it. Or him and Pompey need to be on sync in terms of what their decision making is going to be. Metcalf, a little bit of ball watching there, let's be honest. And these guys, Tigers, I want to point them out, they got talent there. Great offload. Laurie again, very smart. Game was over at this time, but still, these are things that you just need to be on ball all the time. Now, if this was happening the whole game, I'd be very worried. But in patches, Metcalf is making some poor decisions. I'm going to move into our side of attack. This was a nice one where you think usually we do the double lead runners and then they're out the back. This was a nice little variation if you think about it. See the double lead. Well, you could have double leads if you wanted to, but I think field position wise, it was a short sider. It was a short side, so you can't really do the double lead. But it's nice to put New Cordy underneath, and then it turns into it's almost like the double lead, but you're attacking the half and that third man, the center. Just a different variation to it, really. Then you're catching the wing and the 2-on-1. Great hands by Tane. Yep, that was probably his best execution of a out the back play, I thought. He did a very good job on that one. And then look at the angle with Dallin. It's just been insane to how his finishing, man. The extent, I already did a video on it, but the extension of the body, keeping the ball out of arm's length, arm's reach, body high, man, just insane. But yeah, I thought there was a nice different variation where SJ just really set it up really nicely. This is another good one, man. That face ball, SJ to the line. Probably could have gone short. He had both options. But and then you got the Tor looking on the inside and just getting caught. Man, just a great ball. That Liam has to be. If he gets these last 3 weeks right, what a story it would be. Just great by SJ again. I thought that was really cool. This one was a play that I thought tells you a little bit about Metcalf, but also I think Serenin might have got this one wrong. But SJ half break, and then they go short side. But I feel they got the numbers all wrong. Although, if you think about it, that guy's offside. So you're kind of dealing with an offside player, really. But it's 4 on 4. But no real plan there by Metcalf. That's my only concern. Not a real plan about what he wants to do with the ball. I love his other elements, his running ability, his X factor in terms of speed, changes pace. But you have to have a plan of a quick play of the ball to know what you want to try to do quickly. I don't think that was the best option. But I think maybe Suriname, SJ was in the tackle, I get it, yeah. So SJ was in the tackle. he was the only option. But in those situations, I'm thinking, man, just something a little bit more. Yeah, what can you do a little bit different? What was this one? This one was where I thought we had too much ball, and that was just an error. Another thing, like we've been doing a little bit better, a little bit more patience, but there are times like this where we're just like running through the motions and not really thinking about. I don't know, I'm not sure if Metcalf is off the spot there or what's happening on that channel, but we're seeing a lot of this loose ball at the moment on the ground, and it's happening more regularly than I would like. So just some parts of our attack just clunky, and communication is just not there. This was just a nice one, where you just get, again, stressing that part of the field, an outside ball, outside shoulder for Tohu, and then you get Brooks to bite on SJ on the out the back, already starting to set his shape defensively. Great stuff. But that was a nice one in terms of, if you watch the build-up play to it, we built that one up. We actually got that one to patiently work the middles, and it was kind of when Sirenen was at the defense, and I think Sirenen doesn't have the same service, or even, he's not a dummy half, he's not a hooker, so let's not be too hypercritical of him. But in that situation, we were just working the middles pretty much all day, because we couldn't get a lot of our shape out to the outside, or we couldn't generate. So I think we were just playing kind of one out a little bit. But it was nice to see that we were still patient with that one out ball. We didn't force it. We stayed patient, and actually we kind of eventually got the try. And it's nice to see it's just a simple try where you keep working the middles, and eventually they will crack, and that's how it's done. So I think there is some growth. We are being a bit more patient around the middle of the field. I wonder if that's to partly do with Sirenen, that's kind of limiting to what you can do. You can just see there were certain runs where Tohu had to do a one out head up. Nothing was set up for him to kind of use him as a ball player. Same for SJ. There was just some patches where it's like, okay, we got to kind of work differently, and I think they did adapt a little bit to that. But Walker did go off as well, so that changes a lot of that point of attack. So I don't think we were able to really get into our offense effectively, and saying that. So it kind of take it, but I appreciated the fact that they just kept it simple a lot of the time, and a lot of those tries just came from one out the ruck sometimes. Happy for Toy, second week in a row, similar type of try from. It's great, man. This was that last try, I think, for AFB. Similar thing, just work the middles, man. Don't be over complicated. And see a lot of the stuff Sean has to activate the left side. It's great. I mean, but Metcalf, you'd love to see his a bit more involvement. But at the moment, he's just not getting those types of involvements. But Sean's working both sides at the moment, class, and I suppose bumping up his LEM potential there. But this is very much, the game was on the cusp of closing out. This was a nice one where Clemmer shoots. Look at Sean, just decision making on point, man, and those guys in sync with him. That was beautiful. Look at that. It's nice to watch that in slow-mo, isn't it? Reading that inside defender, pushing up on him, and then just makes the right decision. Sean just loving his play right now, man. It is beautiful to watch. Adam pulled up with a little bit of a niggle there, so guys, that pretty much wraps up. It's a short one tonight, but hope you guys enjoyed that one. Okay, guys, that was the WAHNANGA. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Sorry it was a little bit late, I understand, but it's here anyway for your viewing pleasure. I thought, personally, from the game, yes, there were some mental lapses, and there was some fatigue. I felt mental fatigue. I thought the Tigers played a great game, but some things that need tightening up. And I'm sure Webby's aware of it. He's a great coach, has a good finger on the pulse. I'm not not for me to tell him what to do or anything like that. But I feel going into Manly will present a lot more challenges attack-wise, variation. In saying that, it'll be much more up and down, so maybe our forward pack can cope with a lot of that movement. If anything, it will be from a structural element. The Sea Eagles will try and attack us structurally. More structured kicking game. Different types of attacks on the short side. If you think DCE and Olakwapu will work together. So Metcalf and Pompey, you're going to have a big day. Speed on the outside. Little kicks in behind. Jake Travojevic, really great ball playing, similar to Tohu in a sense. Work rate enormous. Schuster, chip and chase, setting outsides up. If you give him too much time, he can definitely destroy you. So there's those elements that I think across the park is going to be a big night tomorrow night. A good one to really watch and see where we're at. I think they'll present a lot of different challenges. But in saying that, I do believe the boys will go well. I think, yeah, they are mental lapses that can be corrected. But there has to be some... I'll be interested to see the fallout from this game. If we do lose, and some of those tendencies are still there around the middles, I feel, getting moved around laterally, I'll be interested to see what Webby does. But I'm looking forward to this game. But I hope you guys enjoyed that, the WAHNANGA. Please, guys, again, like, share, subscribe. Eventually, I think we want to get the WAHNANGA eventually to a point next year where, improved editing, improved everything. So I appreciate everyone's support. And I'm grateful for everyone's comments, and chuck a comment in if you haven't already about analysis or anything. It'd be great to talk to you guys. But looking forward to that one tomorrow night, and we'll catch you guys later on the flip side. Peace. Up the ones.